Hi everybody, my name is Dana Cianciotto and I am talking to you guys to let you know that no matter how bad you think things might be in junior high or high school and sometimes even college, it does get better. I am 30 years old and went to high school in Tucson, Arizona, and to be brutally honest, it was a really hard time. I got picked on, I got knocked downstairs, spit on, had things thrown at me, got called a dyke a lot, even got called a faggot a lot, which I never really understood. But I was able to find a wonderful support group of people in drama. And I know that might sound a little stereotypical, but it seems that the kids that are into the arts are a little bit more open-minded. You just have to seek them out. And it was the kids that were in drama class and the kids that were in musical theater and art class and the musicians that didn't care what I was. They only cared who I was. And I was a good person. I just happened to be gay. And it doesn't matter if you live in the South, if you live in the Bible Belt, if you live in a small town in Montana, there are those open-minded people there. I promise you. I went to a very conservative school that was right next to a Mormon seminary, and I was still able to find those people that have stayed my friend to this very day. And without them, I really don't know what I would have done. I had many times where I did contemplate suicide. I had a couple of times where I did try it. And I went through a very serious experience junior year where my girlfriend, we'd been together about 8 months, her family was very religious. They were born-again Christian, and we'd hid our relationship from them the best we could, and they found out somehow, and less than 24 hours later, they had her on a plane to go live across the country with her aunt and uncle. That was a tremendously, the experience almost destroyed me. My drama friends and I found out that this was happening, and we went to the Tucson airport the next morning at like 5:30. There were 30 of us standing there begging her parents not to send her away. And I remember her mother coming up to me and pointing her finger in my face about an inch away and saying to me, "If you ever try to talk to my daughter again, I will kill you." Now I was 15 years old, and I'm not saying anything bad against young people, but when you're 15, you're not always able to handle certain things, and that was really hard to handle. A grown woman threatening my life when I was so young. I didn't even have a license to drive a car, and of course they sent her away anyway. And it was really hard because she was in every single one of my classes that year, and all of a sudden all I had was an empty chair next to me. Going to school was hard, being at school was hard, hearing people taunt me because my girlfriend got sent away was still to this day probably one of the hardest things that I've ever gone through in my life. If I had not had that support group, those wonderful friends, I don't know what would have happened. But I have to tell you, it gets so much better. Life is so worth living, and suicide, I've always heard people say, is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And when I was a kid, I thought, well, screw you. If I want to kill myself, that's no business of yours. But it is. It affects everybody. It affects the people who love you, the people in your life, and it burns your light out far sooner than needed. In the past 15 years since high school, I've had a lot of really great experiences. I've traveled, I've met wonderful people, I've succeeded in the things that I enjoy doing. I write, I perform, I sing, and I can't imagine having missed out on those experiences just because life was hard. Don't get me wrong, it was hard. Bullies suck. But when you get out of that little high school world and you get to the real world, it does get better, it gets easier. And now I'm in a situation where senior year of high school, I met a girl named Erin, and she was not only a cute little lesbian, she was a cheerleader and the homecoming queen. And senior year, all of a sudden, I was kind of cool because I was the girl that was dating the homecoming queen. And I'd like to show you this. This is Erin and I. We did go to prom together our senior year, and ironically, all this time has gone by, and here we are again. This is us in 2010, and this is us in 1998. So that is pretty impressive, and I have to tell you, absolutely worth living for. I also used to get picked on in school for dressing like a boy. Jeans, t-shirts, combat boots. I was not a spaghetti strap and skirt kind of lady. I never have been, I never will be. And now I actually perform as a drag king, and these are actually some of the awards that I've won doing so. People actually pay me to travel to different places across the country and get on stage and entertain. I've been recognized for it, I've received accolades for it, and this here, this is $35 that I made at my last show doing just one 3.5-minute number. People actually give me dollar bills to get on stage and be me. I never thought that would happen. And it never would have happened if I'd followed through on killing myself when I was in high school. I have a great career, I have great friends, I have an amazing family, a wonderful home with 2 dogs and 3 cats that I absolutely adore. Life is truly wonderful, and you'll always have tough times, but the way you face them turns you into the person that you're going to be for the rest of your life. So kids, no matter what happens, no matter what they say to you, no matter what they do to you, I promise you it will get better.